Alright guys, welcome today to edutainment for us. Today we have about 3 videos to go. I don't know how fast I'll be to be able to achieve my goal because we've started late. Of course, we normally start at 1, but today I've started at 4. So 4:50 in fact. So thank you so much for those of you who will be watching us. We are into political reactions before we can get to the final social reaction. And of course, today was a Sabbath. We went to church. We had a nice time. We had a moment to actually appreciate what God has done for us the entire week, and also to plan ahead and ask Him to grant us mercies and enable us to achieve more other things that we want to attain as the week proceeds. We also had a moment to commit to repentance, to repent our sins of commission and omission, as it is the Catholic Church expectation. So thank you so much for coming in the house and tuning in. I appreciate you. So let's start with some information from Tanzania. And of course, Tanzania has been on our channels for the longest time possible, and we hope that they are coming to an end of such as a very long, sad moment. So since the arrest of Nifa Jovin, of course, a TikToker and influencer, many people have come up to talk about her matters. And remember, talking about this, whether it's on the media or even to let Amnesty or international bodies aware of what is happening, gives chance to people to be let free. You know, when we talk about it, then people ask, what are you doing? Why are you doing this and all this? It's just human, you know. When you come to humanitarian aspects, it's only when people are whistleblowing that anybody can act on whatever is happening. But if people are silent and there is a problem going on in a country, no one will actually handle the matter. Now, of course, you understand that Tanzania, as we said, after election and after swearing in of Samia, we clearly said that she's going to revenge. She's going to be on a revenge mission, and she will, it's very possible when you are doing a revenge mission, sometimes you turn unreasonable. But depending on those who are close to you, if they are not ready to advise you or even make you understand that you are messing big time, then the tingle goes on. So of course it's unfortunate for Tanzania because people are not ready to address Samia personally, and I believe also an entire house. Welcome in the house. I can see one person here. Daniel, welcome in the house, and thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate. Hello. Thank you for coming in the house and liking the video. Like the video for me and subscribe if you are new here. As we go on our journey to 4,000 subscribers, we are so glad that we are going to get there. And it's because of your efforts and your presence on this channel that we are going to make this dream a reality. It was a long fight, but at the end of it, the battle was worth it. So I appreciate your presence this Sunday, and I hope you had a nice Sabbath, whether it was Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So welcome once more to this channel. It's Prissy here, sharing some reactions. Of course, this is not much of the news, but it's just a sensitization kind of reaction and analysis of what goes around the globe, not just in Africa or East Africa, but the world at large. So today we are falling on Zambia. We are going to touch on Uganda and Kenya. Then another video will come for Sudan, Kenya, and Sudan and Kenya, and maybe possibly US. So welcome, and I really appreciate your presence often. It encourages me to keep going and keep releasing more videos, regardless of the harsh times with data bundles. So thank you so much. I appreciate. So we have seen sensitization around Nifa Jovin. Now people are asking online. Of course, it is currently, if you understand how the world is moving, we have the aspect of the physical space. We have physical space, and at the same time now we have the virtual space. And the virtual space gives room for people from different countries and from different regions to speak about some matter in a different country. So currently a lot of people are addressing the matter of Nifa Jovin. Of course, an influencer from Tanzania, most of you know her. And you remember that she was arrested when dancing to that challenge on Samia, on we. So I'll be showing you some video here. And so many people have talked about her. Of course, some of them being Kenyan, some of them being from other countries. Now that TikTok is a platform for different people. So we've seen people addressing Samia online and telling her to release Nifa Jovin because she was just dancing to a challenge. How many people danced to that challenge? And maybe they didn't put it on online. And because Nifa is an influencer, whenever she did it in her shop, she actually did it to attract maybe customers towards her business. And she has not been given room to speak. She was also actually taken in and charged with treason. You can imagine such a very capital kind of verdict. And yet she was not taken even to court, you know. She was just arrested, then charged with treason and put behind bars. So we've seen her mother crying and asking that Suluhu should let her be. She's a nice girl. She has always been good. And I thought that sometimes for treason charges, people do background checks. They also look at the history of what someone has done. Unfortunately, Tanzania has become, what can we call it? Is it a vifaranga regime or kangaroo regime or something like that? There is a name they call such regimes. So it has turned in a regime whereby maybe one person or a few people sit around the table and make a decision on how they should treat some people. And of course, we've seen how many people, by yesterday we were told around 240 people or more have been charged with treason. And that is not the end. We will be talking about more, especially when addressing the aspect of Nyakundi, Cyprian, and Amenya Nelson. Remember, these are very popular people who are known, and they are really doing a lot. Of course, we cannot say whatever they are doing is bad, because when you look at what Nelson Amenya did for Kenya to reveal on Adani deal, and that deal, finally the government said it was a very bad deal. So it means that they are just intelligent people who should work for Africa, but Africa is pushing them away. No wonder Nelson is in exile in France. So let's get to follow up on Nifa. And maybe I may not play everything there because sometimes copyrights are what we avoid. But we really call upon the government of Tanzania. If there is any panel that has to sit and talk about the matters, she is one person that should be released. We don't see why Nifa Jovin is arrested. The fact that you do a challenge, does it really make it a treason charge for you? So let's just see this. And there are a lot of people who are urging that she be released. And of course, a lot of Kenyan Gen Zs are at the top or are asking Tanzania embassy to release her, help or rather intervene. And of course, maybe international bodies will very soon be going in to see what to do. So let's check on this.
Achilia hii msichana. Hii msichana hajakukosea hata kidogo. Na wewe unajua. Nifa Jovin is just a 25, 26-year-old girl who is trying to market her business. Kusema ukweli, hii msichana, the international community, kama Samia Suluhu atasikia, international community, you have to get into the matter of Nifa Jovin. Nifa Jovin, huyu anadhulumiwa kwa sababu alikuwa ana dance to a tune. Yeye hakuongea. She did not incite any violence to anyone. Samia Suluhu, achilie msichana.
So can you imagine a country whereby if you dance to a tune and the president thinks that tune is not really very fitting for her, then you are arrested and put behind bars, then charged with treason, even when you don't speak. So I don't just understand law at this level, therefore. But maybe you can let me know, for those of you who are watching, why do you think she deserves to be arrested, for example? Why does she deserve to be behind bars in Tanzania? Maybe Tanzanians in the house, can you let me know? Nijulisha nijue kwa nini Nifa Jovin alifaa kushikwa na kuwekwa katika jela, kwa sababu alikuwa tu anacheza, you know? She was just dancing. You know, the way anybody, a TikToker, YouTuber can go dancing over some challenge that is online. So we don't understand why she was actually put behind, but we are seeing a lot of people are pushing for her to be scot-free. And of course, we saw her mother yesterday crying over the matter, and now I want to bring other people who spoke about the same.
Amezika watu over 3,000 people, innocent blood. Hakuna mali ya serikali iliyoharibiwa. Hakuna mwananchi pamoja na kukamata ambaye labda kwamba pamoja na kukamata lakini hakuna aliweza kuumizwa. Wote tuliachia bila masharti. Tulibaki na wale ambao tuna ushahidi nao.
Sorry for the commercial, but that is a part of the YouTube space.
Pigeni makelele, justice for Anifa. We will support you.
Mimi ni mama yake na Jennifer Jovi Binyukweja, almaarufu Nifa. Mama, nimekuja mbele yako kuomba msamaha kwa ajili ya makosa aliyotenda binti yangu.
And these are the kind of things that just make us tuna appreciate mahali ambapo tupo. Kusema kweli. Mama kimzazi mpaka akatokea jamani, akasema kwamba Nifa, mimi naomba msamaha. Kama kuna kitu alifanya, kuna kitu alitamka, mumsamehe, manake ndo tegemeo langu hapa nyumbani.
So you can imagine even the mother pleaded with the Suluhu, but Suluhu doesn't seem to be freeing her. And of course, we've seen a lot of charges. The Magereza vehicle for Tanzania was ferrying a lot of people and carrying them away, then charging them for treason. I don't know whether some of them are foreigners, but I just guess it is true. Some of them might be. So of course, when you look at the people who are charged with treason, they are very young. All these people here, you know, some of them already have got in, some are walking out of the vehicle and all that. Very young. So I can see the ages of those people who are taken in. Of course, those are Gen Z. People who are in their 20s up to 30. So most of them are the ones who are arrested and charged with treason, and some of them death penalty. And of course, the influencer Nifa, it's either death penalty or staying in prison forever. That's exactly the kind of verdict that most of the people who have been charged in Tanzania for causing fracas have been. However, when you look at the case of Nifa, Nifa was actually dancing. She just danced to a challenge. Nywi, 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 that song, of course, all of us know it. It came up during this controversial moment. And when you look at her dancing, she was dancing while marketing her products in her shop. She didn't speak, she didn't say anything. So I don't know whether when you play some music and dance to it, does it become treason? Maybe let me know. Drop a comment and let me know what exactly that means. Now let's see another shocking evidence. The other shocking evidence comes on the order by TESTIFIES that Cyprian Nyakundi and Nelson Amenya will actually be shot if they go to Tanzania. That's what has been said. And why is this coming out? It's because they believe that Nyakundi and Cyprian are controversial individuals, according to what has been shared. Let's check here. And of course, this is the kind of tweet that came up on this. Cyprian Nyakundi and Nelson Mandela, they have now been considered thieves If they step in Tanzania, they'll be shot dead. All right. So of course, all of you, for those of you who have been keen, you can check on Cyprian Nyakundi online or Nelson Amenya. You will understand the political aspects behind them. And if you learn about Kenya, Nelson Amenya came to reveal a lot of information surrounding the aspect of the Adani deal. And so many Kenyans were not even aware of what was happening, but he was able to dig some very secret details and documents, and actually went online, made Kenyans aware. I remember the Senator Kisii revealing that the guy had actually been insecure after that. Let's just check at his picture. This is Nelson here. And currently in France, in exile. Of course, at some point last month, we also saw that his church denounced him. The church, this church by the guy from Nyanza, had to denounce him. And here is another picture of him, of course, if you can clearly see. So even though he's a Kenyan citizen, this guy comes from Migori and stays in France currently. And he's doing a lot for Africa, not just Kenya, because I can say what he did when he revealed about Adani, it came out that many people now came to understand that some of the things that were happening behind the, our faces were very serious. Now, there is another situation also we saw. This guy known as Cyprian is here talking a lot. Maybe that one, from what he says, we can understand. This is what he said here.
Kuna JKT waliotoka yaani, sikiliza, hata ukivalisha wanajeshi wako tunajua umeshaweka uniform, unawavalisha wanajeshi wako na polisi na nani, unawavalisha hata raia. Baba, nisikilize. Wewe Mlilo, nisikilize. Hatu wavalishe nusu ya Tanzania. Mechi siku hiyo mimi ndo nakuwa refa, afu nitakuwa front line. Au nikuonyesha kitambulisho? Utajua ujui.
Dar es Salaam, November 9th, 2025.
So, of course, Cyprian was blocked from going to Tanzania. There is a point whereby he was supposed to go attend a celebration, a kind of wedding of a friend, and he never went. A good picture of him is here. Let me show it again. So this guy has been a vocal person online, a vlogger that has been political on many situations. Now, of course, Tanzania has stepped up and said that, and not just Tanzania at large, but specifically the authorities. The authorities don't want him in Tanzania because, according to them, Nelson and Cyprian are a threat to the nation. Let's listen to this.
A worker involved in burying unclaimed bodies says he has never seen so many corpses all his life. We have also received information that mass graves are being dug.
Not only have there been massive human rights violations, but also massive cover-up that is happening at the moment.
Amnesty International's latest report states, quote, TISS operatives have abducted critics at night, torturing them in black sites and executing them with a single bullet to the head. This is not law enforcement, this is purge. The report's language is chilling, and yet eerily familiar to anyone who has studied how African regimes weaponize security organs. The United Nations has scheduled an emergency Security Council session on Monday. The U.S. State Department has issued a level 4 travel advisory.
Kenya tukiangalia tukitathmini masuala ya human rights violation, maana yake nimepata distress call nyingi sana kwa kuna watu wana shida huku na hapa na pale, na kufika tu hivi wa Tanzania waliona shati yangu, wakaona imeandikwa Muhuri Muslim for Human Rights, watetezi wa haki za binadamu, wakaanza kutuandama polepole. Tulikuwa na mwandishi mmoja anaitwa Shaban Shoka. Sasa tukafikiri mzamza, mara wakamtukia Shaban, wale walikuwa wamevaa plain clothes, hatujui ni ile gani, lakini mmoja alijitambulisha kuwa ni usalama wa taifa. Basi sisi, mimi na wenzangu hawa wakereketwa, tukahepa, tukaacha hata gari pale.
For Kenyans, this is not just a foreign crisis, it is a wake-up call. If a neighboring state can issue a cross-border death order against your citizens, what does sovereignty even mean? Kenyan authorities are under pressure to respond diplomatically and privately to ensure protection of whistleblowers and activists.
Yoni aje wa Kenya. Mimi ule mtu uchukua vitisho rahisi na huo sipuuzi vitisho pia, by the way. But at the same time, I just want to let you know that this is the first time I'm being threatened internationally. Now at TC. When Kasim, you call yourself Kasim. Niko na majina zenyu nyote wote nimechukua ma screenshot nimeweka just in case. So hawa say wananitishia kwa sababu nilipost zile video za wale watu wamekufa. Watu wamechinjwa na mapolisi, ma DCI wa Tanzania wanawajaza kwa malori. Sasa nilifanya hii video usiku, I think it was 9 usiku. How many hours ago? It's about 4 hours ago. Iko hii hapa. The title is Tanzanians are being killed in their homes, bodies piled. And it is true, walikuwa wanapigwa kwa manyumba zao na marisasi. Okay? Wengine wameuawa hata kama wamekaa kwa kiti wamekufa kwa milango. So mimi kusema hivyo, hii video 4 hours ago already got 852,000. I did put the long version of it on my YouTube exposing.
All right, guys. So what comes out clearly is that even bloggers who are blogging, maybe from countries, other countries, especially on Tanzanian news, have been threatened in one way or the other, especially those who have given in-depth information. Remember, Tanzanian authorities had to, actually stop their citizens, or rather bloggers or media personalities, from sharing anything that is revealing what is happening in Tanzania. However, that did not stop individuals who were threatened from sharing what was happening. And of course, that is how we kept finding several videos of what was going on in Tanzania. Now, Larry Madoa with CNN. Of course, Larry Madoa is a citizen of Kenya, but a specialist in giving information. We have seen that even in Kenya, when the police were hiding some information during demonstrations, he came out to reveal a lot about what was happening. And is one person that is very open to share even information with other YouTubers and the other bloggers about what is actually happening on the ground. So we have finally seen that Larry Madoa has come out and he's ready to handle the case of Tanzania. And we hope that he's going to reveal the deep, in-depth aspect of what happened in Tanzania. Now, currently, of course, the young people, the Gen Zs of Mbeya, have threatened to again go back to the streets. Some of them, just like Kenya happened during the second demonstration of Sabasaba this year, have revealed that they are ready to die, but they are going to the streets again to relieve Tanzania. And of course, we know that that may not be a relief, but I just wish that international bodies should now intervene before these young people are executed. If Tanzania has been executing people from their houses, they have been executing people from the streets and carrying the bodies at night to the lorries and ferrying them to the rivers and different destinations and mass graves. What will stop them from executing the GNCs that want now to demonstrate on Mbeya? So currently we have GNCs in Mbeya region of Tanzania who have come up and actually said bye-bye or bid bye to the families, ready to go to the streets again. And they are willing to die just as far as they can relieve their country. Kwa hivyo mambo hayajatulia Tanzania, bado kuna vita na watu wa Mbeya mtaa ama tuseme tunaita nini kule Tanzania wametokezea na wakasema kwamba wataenda katika maandamano na wako tayari kufa, wameaga familia zao na wako tayari kwenda kwa maandamano. So let's check this video, and after that we can check on Larry Madoa and what he's telling us. Now remember, Tanzania has had very controversial information. If at all CNN is able to collect evidence, real evidence about what happened in Tanzania, what is just being awaited by it's the evidence. Once evidence is there to prove that this has been happening in Tanzania, then we might see that Suluhu's leadership may be considered illegitimate and he might be forced to walk out of office. So let's just watch at this video of the Mbeya region and what's going on with the Gen Zs. Then we can now come to Lara Madoa to proceed. So when you see those young people on the street with the coffin, it's not like that coffin has anybody inside, but they are just taking a vow, taking an oath, and they are singing songs. Of course, they are getting ready, and that is a symbol that as they go to bury their dead, they are going back to the streets. So that coffin was actually a symbol, not carrying the dead, but they were going to bury some people elsewhere. But before they went there, they had to come with the coffin to the streets and announce and say that they are ready to come back to the streets and they are ready to sacrifice and even to die if that is what it means, as long as they rescue Tanzania. Kwa hivyo Watanzania hawajatulia, na sijajua kama Suluhu anatuambia kwamba wenye wanaleta machafuko Tanzania ni Wakenya ama watu kutoka nchi za nje, lakini si ukweli. It's not fully true. So the declaration by Suluhu that those who are causing problems or demonstration in Tanzania are foreigners. I don't know whether these are foreigners actually. I can't understand that. But how I wish that she would become sane and think about a solution rather than creating more problems, like threatening even those who are airing out what is happening. Now, Lare Madoa, of course, let's see here. This is what Lare Madoa had to say.
Tanzania's government is cornered. Panic is spreading in Dodoma. Watanzania wengi. Tanzania's government is cornered. Panic is spreading in Dodoma and Dar es Salaam as Kenyan-born international CNN correspondent prepares to release what insiders are calling CNN's one of the most damning investigations in East African history. International correspondent Larry Madowo is finalizing the report that alleged.
Of course, we know Larry Madowo as a professional journalist who really does a lot for him to collect information, and he has urged so many Tanzanian at personal level and any media house that has information about Tanzania to share it out with him so that he knows what to do with it. And of course, CNN is an international journalism. So once they receive the information, so such information is supposed to be actually shared out so that that information helps to rescue the other Tanzanian citizens because of what is happening. Of course, we understand that when a nation is going at excesses, international bodies will, of course, introduce bans. It will introduce some kind of restrictions and some charges on whatever goods they may be importing. It may also put a ban on whatever they're exporting. And such things are what may face Tanzania. I'm not sure whether Tanzania is self-sustainable because when I look at Kenya and even other African nations, I realize that we are not self-sustainable. We rely so much on other nations to survive. So I don't understand if Larry Madowo actually goes ahead and collects information on the realities of what we are seeing on the streets. Of course, we saw some of the videos such as this. We saw such videos as this. Let me just show a little bit.
Gen Z revolution. Niko kwa inbox, DM, iko wazi. Help us investigate what happened so we can tell the world. Asanteni sana. Ordinary kusema ukweli. Kwa hivyo naomba usaidizi. Tunaandaa ripoti CNN kuhusu kilichotokea wakati wa uchaguzi na baada ya uchaguzi. Wengi wamefariki, lakini wanahabari wengi wa Bongo hawana uhuru kusema ukweli. Kwa hivyo nitumie video kama ulirekodi wewe mwenyewe, hujatumiwa na mwingine. Niko kwa inbox, DM, iko wazi. Help us investigate what happened so we can tell the world. Asanteni sana. Ordinary citizens, police whistleblower. Verification. Every clip must suffice. Mamia watu wamenitumia picha ama video wakati wa uchaguzi na baada ya uchaguzi. Hata nimezungumza na wenzangu na habari wa Bongo ambao pia wana mengi kusema lakini hawawezi. In Frankfurt, a small city.
So it's obvious after Larry Madowo actually related to the Tanzanians and urged them at individual level, whether they are citizens or any other person, he urged them to share with him videos that they had recorded at first-hand information and not second-hand, those which are forwarded to other parties. So, and of course, from what he's reporting, a lot of journalists and even individuals came to him through DMs and other channels, and he was able to collect a lot of information from what happened before and after election. So CNN are preparing a report. Such a report will be very fundamental to Tanzania. And of course, we saw some people who had to sacrifice and cover their faces so that they are not nabbed, and they were recording information and handing it over. So we can see some evidence right here of one person who was sharing information about Tanzania.
Bwana, ndugu zangu wa Tanzania, ya kuongea ukitaka kuongea chochote hakikisha umekava kila kitu, hakikisha umekava kila kitu. Hatutaki kuendelea kupoteza vijana wetu, hatutaki kuendelea kupoteza askari wetu, hatutaki kuendelea kupoteza generation Z wetu. Kwa hakikisha kile unapotaka kuongea chochote, hakikisha umekava kila kitu, umekava kila kitu kama hivi. Kwa nini nasema hivyo? Ni kwa sababu wakubwa huko wenye mamlaka wameonyesha kabisa wako tayari kufanya chochote kulinda maslahi yao, lakini hiyo isituzuie sisi kuongea, hiyo isituzuie sisi kupaza sauti zetu. Tutapaza sauti zetu tu.
The global journalist is a Kenyan voice holding power to account beyond.
So Larry Madowo, of course, holds power to account beyond what the borders, and he can share a lot of information about any other nation because he works for CNN, and he has been collecting a lot of news. We'll be seeing in a short time what will be unraveling out of that. Away from that, of course, we have to check on Uganda. Of course, in Uganda, yesterday you saw very well early in the morning as Bob Njagi and OLOO were released from Uganda after 38 days of torture and, fasting. In fact, Bob Njagi himself has said that he will come out to share a lot of what he went through as an activist of Kenya. Now, it comes out that while people thought that whatever led to his freedom was generally maybe the government, but that does not seem to be true. Of course, we'll be checking on that. Many people have said that it was Uhuru Kenyatta, the former president of Kenya, who made a call to General Muhoozi and finally led to freedom of these two guys who had been suffering in Uganda. Of course, their whereabouts had been hidden, and even the government of Uganda denied at some point that they did not know where he was. It's unfortunate that now from there, we begin to learn that when the government says they don't know where someone is, we should not trust them. They are simply trying to downplay aspects so that they do what they have to do. And the same applies even to Tanzania. Of course, what they are saying and what the reality is. They give us a different perception, but the reality on the ground is quite different. So let's listen to Museveni. Of course, Museveni had to come out on a radio station and while at Mbale State Lodge and testify what was happening. And the press actually recorded him in what he was saying. So while talking about the opposition, remember currently Bob Wine, popularly known as Bob Wine, but has an official name you can check online, has been having a very hard time. Yesterday, while moving from Mbarare to another region for campaigns, they were waylaid and his followers, or rather supporters, were arrested. Some were harassed and made to sit down. Now, Museveni comes out to share that the intelligence of Uganda is of a high level, but what he's simply telling us that it is actually regulated a lot and there is no freedom, and democracy is a forgotten thing in Uganda. And he comes out to indicate that the opposition are not ready to use any power. What does that mean? It means that he only trusts him and himself. Okay, so let's listen to what he had to share concerning the matters of Kenya and even the opposition, because we know what the current strong opposition is facing. So let's listen to this.
and we know them. Like for instance, we have got two Kenyans whom we arrested. They have been with us. I have their names, but I don't remember their names. They came. They were working with the Chagulanyi's group. That they are experts in riots. Of course, with our very good intelligence system, we picked them up. And they have been in the fridge for some days.
Can you imagine the way he says it smiling? So Museveni testified that he picked two Kenyans. He doesn't even know their names. Can you imagine how serious this president is? He doesn't have to know their names, but his intelligence told him that these are serious rioters. I was like, Bomb Jagi is a serious rioter? Really? I've never heard of that. In fact, he has just now given them a new name that we didn't know in Kenya. We didn't know that Bomb Jagi and OLOO are serious rioters. We've never heard of that. They are only activists, and activists can just talk but not riot, actually. So the two have been there for 38 days, and you can see he's testifying and smiling, saying that they have been in a fridge all along. So which means he was testifying the torture these guys have gone through in Uganda. Let's listen to more.
Now, some Kenyan leaders rang me and said that I should hand them back I should either put them in Nigeria or hand them back. So we are going to, but you could see we are monitoring all of them. They all have connection with foreign countries, foreign groups funding what these foreigners apparently want, like Uganda. They are very worried about Uganda. Uganda is moving, very strong, industry is growing. We don't lack anything. We have all the food, we have all the raw materials, we have all the industrial products. We are now going to get our oil. So they are very worried. And some of them have been talking with our confused people that they should have contracts, how to control our national parks, how to do this, how to do that. So those are the groups sponsoring these children to do bad things. But they are easy to do.
So according to Museveni, Museveni believes that Uganda is really progressing. I don't know, maybe I need a Uganda here to testify how progressive Uganda is. So according to him, Uganda is really progressing a lot. It's having industries. It is having almost going to extract its own oil. It has a lot of food. Things are moving on well. So according to him, the opposition is a kind of group that is sponsored by the foreigners to come to Uganda and do bad things. Go to Tanzania, do bad things. Go to Cote d'Ivoire, do bad things. And go elsewhere, do bad things. So he's trying to stop that, according to him. Yeah?
For us, we have no problem. We dealt with them. They've been trying to do it for a long time. They've been Kocha Kampala. Together we are not going to coach. So we pick them. Then after some time, they will release them. There's no problem at all for us. Because you remember, like the other time, there was a Taja Kuraira. But I must warn the ones who are seeing these children.
Yes.
Because sometimes the children, like when they had those riots of 2020, November, I think it was November 18th.
Oh, yes.
When they write that Chagulanyi has been arrested, there were the riots, they were Kocha Kampala, then the army intervened and crushed them, and some of the children died. So the ones who are doing that game here in Uganda, they will end up badly. We normally defeat it by counter mobilization, counter action.
Thank you.
But what they want is to control the resources of Africa.
So according to Museveni, anyone who will have to go to Uganda again for rioting when they arrest Chagulanya, who is Bobby Wine, they'll be in for a bad situation, they'll be mistreated, and some of them may die, according to what he said here. And therefore, he's warning them to be careful with what they'll do, because for him, it's not budging. He's not budging. He trusts in his leadership. He's progressing in Uganda. He doesn't want Uganda to be like any other country. And on that platform, he came out asking those who want leadership, what will they do for it? You know, according to him, he doesn't trust that these young people, he calls them children. You know, according to him, he just looks at this guy as a child. So what will he do? Okay? What will he do if he's given that leadership? Let's just listen to that partly. Then we go to Zambia, where the president was stoned.
House. Thinking that this is Museveni's house. That's what Museveni's house is, not Museveni's house. Museveni is just there as an agent, but it is our house. All of us. Any house in Uganda is ours.
Oh, yes.
Why? Because the cement that built it paid tax.
Yes.
And the tax which the cement paid, the Mtaimbwa go in Kororo and you show that we are not happy. You don't attack anybody. Why do you attack? Just show that I'm not happy. I don't agree with what you are doing. But you don't destroy, because suppose you now take over now. You are the new government. Where will you start? If you have already burnt all these, why don't you want to take over something that is...
But it's established.
It's established. What's the problem? So I think Tolonge needs to educate us. Yeah, you have people saying factory young meat. There is no factory young meat here in Uganda. All the factories are ours. If I go to India and build a factory there, it will be a factory of India. They will not say the factory Owente or Uganda. It will be my factory. But
So Museveni actually was trying to defend himself strongly. He was saying that the companies that are in Uganda are all Ugandan and not Indian. Even a company run by Indian is Ugandan, according to him. How true is this again? Maybe you can drop a comment as we move to Zambia. Of course, Zambia has had the Chingola Act of riot and arson behavior. And of course, what happened, there was a vehicle. The president went to a certain region. And when the president went to a certain region, what they did, they burned one of the vehicles. And after burning up the vehicle, the president was speaking, and there were so many stones that were coming from nowhere. A rain of stone came falling. And we just need to see this video here to clarify the reality. And this happened on 5th November, that's Wednesday.
Central Police Station received a report of arson from Superintendent Lloyd Kanondo, aged 48, a police officer based at Copperbelt Division Headquarters. Mr. Kanondo reported that a police motor vehicle, a white Toyota Land Cruiser, registration number ZP2537B, was banned by an irate mob that turned riotous during the presidential visit. According to the report released by the Zambia Police Service, the brief facts are that the district area in the day today received the Republican President of Zambia, President HICHELEMA, who was addressing residents at Chiwempara Market at around 14 hours. As the president was still addressing the public,
so while at Chingola Market addressing the audience, the president was actually attacked with the various stones, and of course 2 people have been arraigned in court following that incident. Why do you think they did this? According to the Zambian news, they are indicating that the president is not delivering on his promises. So as he continued to speak to address the people and give more promises, there was just a rain of stones that came falling from nowhere, and the security had to cover him up and take him away. So let's see this.
2 shops and started looting. When police officers mob, but to no avail. The estimated value of the destroyed government property is yet to be determined. Police has since apprehended 2 suspects identified as Abraham Chirumbu, age 24, an employee of house number 24, Isunga Road, Chwempara Township. Abraham Sichon, age 21, a bar attendant of Mjomba Compound, Chingora South. Both suspects are still in police custody and will appear in court soon. Calm has since been restored in Chingora, and police have intensified patrols to ensure that the situation remains under control. They reminded that maintaining peace and order is a collective responsibility, and violence only
So actually this was another sad situation of Zambia, another African nation. And when you look at what is happening continuously, then you realize that the state of affairs in Africa or East Africa, East Africa and Africa at large, we don't have very good state of affairs currently. And how I wish then that maybe we should have more negotiations, or rather more better ways of solving our problems as Africa than what is currently happening. So I'll stop at this because I need to go and prepare another video so that I can finish in time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye for now.